Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue, and coming up on today's show, we're going to do a little bit of catch-up. Yeah, we're going to play catch-up with some Golf Association of Philadelphia events that were held recently. Also coming up on today's show, this year, especially near the end of the summer, we had so much rain in the Philadelphia area. Well, the superintendents do more than tend to grass and deal with inclement weather. They also raise money for a great cause to help other superintendents in the Philadelphia area and around the country. And we'll see what they're doing or did at Manufacturers Country Club recently when they had a charitable event for fellow superintendents faced with rising medical expenses. That and a lot more coming up on this edition of Inside Golf. Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company. Quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA. Experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.
When I got back from the Gulf War, I was afraid to leave my house for 5 years. Clearview Hope and Renee Powell saved my life.
When I started Clearview Hope, I wanted to do all that I could to help our nation's women military veterans.
Renee, with golf, you have empowered all of us, and we just cannot thank you enough.
The best stories end in thanks. Share your story at ThanksPGAPro.com.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. Today we're at Manufacturers Golf and Country Club for a rather unique outing. We go to a lot of outings, but this one kind of sparks a lot of influence among a very special group of guys, the golf course superintendents. Now, they have their own association, and it's been around almost 100 years. 1925 it began, and the gentleman who's now the vice president is Doug Ray. He's the super. You like being called super? I guess you get that all the time.
Super, greenskeeper, golf course superintendent, yes.
At Applecross, and you've been there a few years, and now you're the vice president of this organization. Tell us about what's going on today here at Manny's, Doug.
Yes, what we're having today is it's a charity outing that it'll be our second time that we have run this in the last 3 years. It's a great outing. It's the We Won. Basically, it's a charity event that we run that helps raise money for families in the green industry. Any way that we can raise money for the people in our industry. This is one of the top charities that we have out there that is run nationally. And there's a lot of vendors here today that will support the We Won Foundation and really add to the charity. There's a lot of superintendents here. There's a lot of superintendents that couldn't make it today. We've had a tough season this season. I'm sure everybody knows with the amount of rain that we've had. So, we raised about over $20,000 the last time that we were here. So we're hoping to do that again today with the silent auction that we're going to have with some sports memorabilia and some products that are donated through our vendors.
It's interesting. We'll get into talking about the tough year you've had. But how about in terms of golf? You guys are on the golf course all the time, but you don't have a club in your hands, right?
Yeah, exactly. I probably only played a few times this year.
Nobody's coming to the Super for lessons, are they?
No, they're not. They're not. We're just here to have fun and shoot the ball around. We'll do a scramble format today and just try to raise some money for a good cause.
Out at the semifinal of the FedEx playoffs at Aronimink not long ago. What happened with all the rain there? And I know a lot of your guys, the local guys, helped out with the crew at Aronimink to get that place playable.
Yes, I believe that there were about between 70 and 80 volunteers that John Goslin brought in to help run that event. It was a shame that the rain came and postponed it another day, but I know they got the course in great condition. There's a big brotherhood that we have, and we all look out for each other. So I know we brought in some good assistants and superintendents to come in and help. Also the vendors too that help support us.
So, and you know, weather, you never know. You know, things can be going along fine, and then all of a sudden you get either a hurricane or a bad storm situation. And wow, in just a matter of hours, your job becomes almost insurmountable.
Definitely. You know, I think, you know, we look good when we're riding high, when the course is looking great, and then we're the first person that somebody wants to come and talk to when something doesn't look right on a golf course. And I'll be honest with you, the amount of rain that we've had over like 20 inches since I think the middle of July up until September, at least in my area. I know other guys range more or less. You go farther west, it's been pretty tough season. So
I know you guys keep copious notes from year to year. Where does that rank, 20 inches plus of rain in your area over the last, say, your tenure and even beyond?
Well, for me, I mean, it's got to be one of the wettest summers that I can remember. And that's the other cool thing with our association being so old. We have some tenured superintendents that you can go and talk to and find out what it was like, you know, and how they dealt with it way back when. So, but to have the specific numbers, I'm sure it's right up there.
Well, listen, thanks for what you're doing today and for what you do for all golfers. Certainly you as an individual in Applecross, but all these guys, what they do to make the experience so much more enjoyable here in the Philadelphia area through the work of the superintendents. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Harry.
Good seeing you. And we'll be back. We'll have more on this outing here at Manufacturers on Inside Golf.
Everyone knows the five senses.
But what if we told you?
There's more. An elusive sensation.
Coaxed out only under ideal circumstances.
We can't fully describe it, but you'll know it.
When you feel it.
We call it the ultimate driving machine.
Take advantage of exceptional lease and finance offers today.
The first tee of Greater Philadelphia, where golf is more than a game.
And welcome back. Inside Golf continues from the Manufacturers Golf and Country Club here in Orland, Pennsylvania. And Chase Rogan has come from sort of western Pennsylvania, but he's the Mid-Atlantic representative for the Golf Course Superintendents Association. Chase, thanks first of all for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
What do you do to help these guys in this Mid-Atlantic region do a better job at their job?
Sure, well, part of what the association does is that we offer continuing education for our members. We have almost 18,000 members across the world, really. So continuing education, we have a certification program for our superintendents. We also work on behalf of our members in government affairs work, both locally, statewide and nationally, and then we also do advocacy to try to help grow the game of golf.
You know, no matter where I go to play, whether it's in this area or anywhere, we see occasionally little signs saying what type of fertilization has been done that day and on what holes maybe to give people, I don't know how many people keep up with it. Is that something that's required now, or you just do it, the group does it as a service?
It's a little bit of both. Sometimes it can be required depending on what you're actually putting down, but sometimes it is just a service, because the fact of the matter is that all of these things go through rigorous testing, both health and safety. So anything that's been approved for use on a golf course is proven to be safety for that use.
You know, another thing that golfers have noticed is trees. All of a sudden, trees are the bad guys out there on golf courses. You think this is a trend, the removal of trees, or is it something that maybe is going to evolve and then all of a sudden there'll be trees back on the golf course? Where does that stand?
Well, I think trend-wise, it's not so much about the trees, but what you're seeing in golf course design is going back to these original designs and trying to uncover what the original architect had in mind for the golf course. And in a lot of instances, those trees were never planned to be there in the first place.
Yeah, because if you look at aerial shots or older shots, original golf courses 100 years ago, you wouldn't even recognize them today.
That's right, that's right. And another thing that goes into that plan is highlighting the big specimen trees that are beautiful, that should be highlighted, eliminating the ones that are just causing poor turf conditions. If you have good rough, instead of a tree there, I would argue that golfers will be just as happy, and it often opens up vistas on the golf course, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say it's just as much about the architecture and the original architecture of the golf as it is about removing trees.
Now, when you go out and play an event like this, or any time do you play, do you have your eye on what's maybe not going on with the ball, but the kind of surroundings you're playing on?
No question. I mean, we look at these events as educational events as well. So while we're out here to have some fun, it's also about networking, learning about different practices that can help these guys at their own facilities, and taking something away from the day that you can apply in the future at your own golf course.
Well, go out there and have some fun. Keep your eye on the ball, Scott.
Right.
Don't worry about the trees, all right?
Thank
least
you
today.
very much. Thank you.
Marty Emino from the Golf Association of Philadelphia brings us up to date on the recent Patterson Cup and Dawn to Dusk.
Michael R. Brown Jr. delivered yet another Superior Major Championship performance in the 116th Joseph H. Patterson Cup, right here at Golf Mills Golf Club. Brown started day 2 5 shots behind opening round leader Scott McNeil, but closed with a scintillating 5 under par 66 to swoop past the field. Most impressive, it is the 45-year-old Brown's third Golf Association of Philadelphia major title. He won the 2009 Mid-Am and 2010 Open Championship, both of those in a playoff. This recent victory has Brown in high spirits.
It feels good to be more recent, because I was kind of feeling a little bit like the good days were behind me. I still play good golf, but there's so many good young players. It just seems like it's harder and harder to win, and I feel like it's harder and harder to play the game as I get older. In the back of my head, I want to be relevant and still a part of the conversation, so that's what motivates me.
The day started out a little salty for Brown, the owner of a Philly pretzel store in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He bogeyed number 1, but canceled that out with a birdie on the 3rd hole. As the leaders behind him struggled, Brown ratcheted up the pressure and rocketed up the leaderboard. He played holes 7 through 12 in 5 under. He went, wait for it, birdie, 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 bogey, eagle.
I made a pretty lucky birdie on 7. I had a 20-footer for birdie. I went for the green in 2 and hit a mediocre chip, and I had a 20-footer for birdie that was downhill, and I hit it entirely too hard. If it doesn't go in, I'm going to 3-putt more than likely. Again, I wasn't even really part of the conversation at that point. After I made birdie on 10, I thought I had a chance to win.
Down the stretch, the deliberate Brown kept a clean card. He posted 5 straight pars before reaching the gettable par 5 18th in 2. After a delicate first putt, he converted this short birdie try to finish at 4 under.
I was hoping optimistically the lead would be, the winning score would be 4 under, so that's where I was setting my target. You know, it was windy out there, it was tough conditions, and, you know, I guess people moved back a little bit, which helped me out.
Brown's closest competition came from a surprise foe. Recent Temple University graduate Mark Farley matched Brown's closing 66. The 22-year-old started the day 2.5 hours before the leaders after an opening round 3 over 74. He finished it, accepting the runner-up Crystal.
Shot 3 over yesterday. Wasn't really thinking I'd be in contention for the championship. Just wanted to go out there, you know, make as many birdies as I could, play a really smart, solid round of golf, see where that put me in the leaderboard, and then, you know, I was fortunate enough to eagle 18, get to 5 under on the day, 2 under total, and you know, then it kind of sunk in where I was at overall.
The Patterson Cup was Farley's lone association appearance this year. Brown's 3 victories in GAP majors puts him in elite company, a fact he's well aware of.
It's pretty awesome to think that, you know, I've won three of these majors against some really good players. Philadelphia is arguably one of the strongest amateur sections around. So to win out here, you're beating a lot of college kids and you're beating a lot of seasoned veterans that know how to win. So all golfers question themselves. I have self-belief issues myself, so this is going to go a long way for me. And it's not going to last forever, so I'm glad to get this one in ink.
Only the amateur stands between Michael Brown and the career Grand Slam. We'll see if he can get that next year at Stonewall. The Dawn to Dusk Golf Marathon has served as the largest single one-day fundraiser for the Platte Caddy Scholarship. Each August, individuals from GAP member clubs play golf sunup to sundown to raise money for caddies in pursuit of higher education. This year, Dawn to Dusk ended a few hours early to welcome an additional way to give. The newly created Platte Olympics offered GAP member clubs a chance to compete for a cause for Philadelphia's true golf charity. With the mood very light, 3-person teams rotated through 4 skill stations. Of course, there was a little witty banner and club pride on the line. Side note, congrats to the winning team from Aronimink Golf Club of Dan Bernard and the father-son duo of Marty and Jeff Klagholz. But in the end, the day belonged to the Platte Scholars.
The J. Wood Platte is the one charity that I know that every dime that I give to them goes to a good cause and hopefully helps a kid in life that kind of caddying did for me. Caddying was a great thing for me. I learned a lot about golf, about people, and you know, I think it was very, very beneficial for me throughout my whole life. And I'm happy to support it, and I'll be back next year.
The day raised more than $200,000 for the Platte's general fund.
Every year we meet new people and new teams come out to play. We added the Dawn to Dusk Olympics this year, which was a great addition to the event. This was our first year at Rolling Green. Hope to be back. It was an awesome venue to have the event. And it's just a really successful, our biggest fundraiser for J. Wood Platte. And that is certainly due to the people's generosity and commitment to the trust.
And now in its 9th year, the Dawn to Dusk Golf Marathon has raised more than a remarkable $1.9 million. Thank you for your support. For the Golf Association of Philadelphia, I'm Marty Emino.
Thanks, Marty. Coming up, I'll be joined by our teed-off panel next on Inside Golf.
There's a certain look that conveys the professionalism of the game, and I don't think that short pants do that.
Welcome back. It is time now for our teed-off panel here on Inside Golf, one of my favorite segments of the show. We're at Bluestone Country Club in Bluebell, Pennsylvania, right in the grill room, the recently refurbished grill room adjacent to the beautiful 18 holes of championship golf here at Bluestone Country Club. All right, our panel today has Bob Shepard, frequent contributor, longtime PGA professional in the Philly area. Sitting next to Bob Shepard, Quinn Spitzer. He is the president of the Golf Association of Philadelphia, member longstanding and good standing at Huntington Valley Country Club.
Hope so.
Yeah. And Joe Logan, another frequent contributor to Inside Golf and teed off from myphillygolf.com. Guys, we're going to do, on this teed off segment, our short course segment. You know, it's kind of like me posing some questions and you coming up, maybe not with the right answer, but an answer, whatever comes to your mind, okay?
Right.
I want to start off with you, Shep, and everybody gets a chance to answer the same one. What's the easiest shot in golf for you to execute, and why is it the easiest?
Well, I hit the ball very long, so my favorite club, and always has been, is the driver. I never had any trouble with it. And also, I used to be able to do magic with a driver. If I wanted to hit it off the ground, I could. If I hit it on a tee, I could put it on a pencil before these illegal tees are being used. And I used to hit it over the building at Sandy Run or over the big tree, and I drove a lot of par 4s.
18 on Sandy Run, would you take it right over the clubhouse?
Actually, to the right of the tree and over the clubhouse and on the green. Used to knock it on the green quite a bit.
Right. That shot doesn't exist
This
in
is
my
crazy
game.
talk, crazy
Exactly.
talk.
No wonder it was your easiest
Yeah,
shot.
so I always thought that was sort of an easy
You have that
club.
shot, don't you, Quinn?
Oh, no. I don't have any of those shots.
What's your easiest shot and why?
Usually the third shot after I hit it out of bounds. By that point, all the sort of the tension's gone. It's amazing how good that shot looks compared to the first one that went into the pond or what have you.
And do you hear the comment of, same guy?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that a
whole
lot. I've
thing,
heard
right?
that a lot through my life.
Okay. Joe?
Right now, the tap in. But I'm one of these
What's a
people-
tap in for you?
Like that. I'm one of these people that there's always some component of my game that's haywire. If I'm hitting my driver well, then you got to figure my irons are out of sync. If I'm putting something, there's always something. It's never. You don't own golf. You only rent it, and I can never rent the full thing anyway. Nothing. There's nothing easy about golf. I enjoy it. That's the problem with golf. It doesn't love you back.
Well, at least it doesn't tell you in words. All right, next little question here on our short course, Bob. How long do you keep a golf ball? Well, typically, I mean,
Typically about 3 holes. Used to
Three
be,
holes?
Used to be about
See, this
3
is
holes.
a pro talk, and he gets those Titleist or TaylorMades or
Was it
whatever,
free?
right?
I was always charged.
Were you?
Maybe I wasn't lucky. Who knows?
3 holes.
3 holes,
Okay.
yeah.
And then it goes to the shag bag or
It used to be
something?
1 hole back in the old days with the Bellata, because you could hit them once and they come back like an egg, you know?
Right.
That's true.
They used to give you the rings and see if you could pass it through the rings. And I couldn't get by 1 hole. I'd hit a drive and
That was it.
it was tricky,
It was-
you know? Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Quinn?
When a ball gets scuffed up, I tend to take it out of play. I'm very into the visual appeal of the golf ball, and so I take balls out of play where my brother, who actually is in charge of equipment
John.
standards at the USJ, he'll play with the ball for 4.5 years. So we have a slightly different attitude.
He wants to
about
make
that.
sure it's, it meets the standards of the USGA.
Apparently.
Okay. Joe?
Generally, 1 round. If I get a full round out of a ball without losing it, I'm grateful to that ball. It then goes in the bag and comes out, like a lost ball or a water ball or something like that. But you're talking about balls going lopsided. That's not an issue anymore with modern golf balls.
No.
Now they're hard.
You hit
But
it
the
with a hammer.
Bellata, used to cut them or hit them lopsided. And that
If
sort
you
of
looked
thing.
at it, cut.
You used to be able to cut them with a good shot. I mean, a good wedge shot into a green, you come up with a smile on the ball. So you had
Out
to,
it goes.
you threw it.
But now, 1 round to me, that ball has earned sort of senior bag status.
It's a good way to put it. Should tour players, Bob, be allowed to wear shorts?
I don't know what the thought is.
Oh, you got to have an answer. Come on now.
For a voting member of the PGA, I would say no. I think it's awful. It's the only sport where you don't have a uniform, and it's up to the player to have a uniform. And the only specifications for Tiger's wearing a T-shirt these days. It looks sort of simple, I think. The sneakers, I don't think that looks like a golf pro, So there's certain things that I disagree with totally that are very well accepted today. Nike's got a lot of clothing out there that I'm not really in touch with. But I like back when the old days when John McDermott wore a coat and tie.
Oh, boy.
And Chappie Laprie and his guys.
Earth to Bob.
Exactly.
Coat and ties are not coming back.
That's right, exactly.
Quinn, let's stay with shorts, not coat and ties.
I think there's a certain look that conveys the professionalism of the game, and I don't think that short pants do that. Besides, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to put a rule in that when you turn 40, because we all know what guys' legs look like when they turn 40, you got to go into long pants anyway because it destroyed the visuals on the game.
Joe, shorts or not on tour?
No, not on the PGA
That
Tour.
was very emphatic.
Well, I know. I agree that it's sort of a business look. But I must say, I was at the Philadelphia Open run by Gap and saw several section pros, it was a hot day, wearing shorts. Guys I'd never seen wear shorts in section events. And I won't say I was taken aback, but it was like, whoa, I've never seen those guys in shorts. And I know they wouldn't wear shorts in a section event, and they certainly wouldn't if they ever played on a PGA Tour event.
Sure,
PGA Tour event. But, caddies, yes, players, no.
There you go. Our little short course version for Teed Off. Gentlemen, thank you, and we'll be back to wrap things up on Inside Golf in just a moment. Located in Blue Bell, just a short drive from Plymouth Meeting, Bluestone Country Club offers a setting that's close at hand but feels like a world away. Bluestone offers a championship caliber golf course, practice facilities including a large driving range, separate chipping and putting areas, and a staff of PGA professionals. At the Country House at Bluestone, you'll find excellent food, superb service, and an outstanding setting. Their expert staff will assist in planning your next event, whether it's a wedding or simply a luncheon, dinner, or cocktail party. Check out Bluestone's variety of membership options. Much more than a golf course, Bluestone is a community. Well, hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Inside Golf. Our thanks to Marty Emino and the Golf Association of Philadelphia for letting us look back at the recent Patterson Cup and Dawn to Dusk. Coming up in the weeks ahead, we're going to be right back here at Concord Country Club, where they held the 2018 Philadelphia Sectional Championship. It went down to an exciting finish, and we'll show you that and talk to the winner. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. See you next time right here on Inside Golf. Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company, quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.